Okay, let's look at looping through lists or arrays, and this is a useful, actually, you really need to understand this and the concepts behind it. So we've done this before with the while method, so let's actually do it again just so that we're clear on this. For the while method, you actually have to have a list index variable, and it's always a good idea to set it to 0 unless you're trying to go backwards, of course. And then you have a while list index is going to be less than the length of our list, which is a fruit list. Okay, so we've got a while loop that's going to step through the number of times there are items in the list. So we're going to then print out our fruit list, and we're going to print it out by index number. So list index, and this one should be lowercase l. And then we're going to have to increment our list index by 1 plus equals 1. So that should actually step through. So now if I run this and go run without debugging, we get apple, pear, orange, plum, and then we've got some other stuff underneath, which is all the print methods that I've got to end some other things in the tutorial. So we've got those 4 there. So that's one way of stepping through that particular list, and that is useful. One of the things I often forget to do is I often forget this line, or I put it in the wrong place as well. So it can be a bit annoying if you put it in the wrong place as well. So you need to actually make sure that you do or set up your while list very carefully. A better method is using a for list method. Now, other software programming languages have an interesting use of the for list, but the for list is basically going through, or the for with next loop is for basically going through lists or arrays in Python. So we're going to go for, and we're just going to use the determination of fruit in the fruit list. So for the fruit in the fruit list, print fruit. That's it. And if you run that now, you should see double that list because it's got it twice. So that second time round is this bit of code here. Maybe if I print up here and the while method, that will actually let us know that it's done that. So you can see there that that's a much more simple, easy way of stepping through a list. Sometimes though, you're going to want the index number as well of the fruit. So we can use a special method there. So we can say for, and we can actually create 2 variables at this point in time. So I'm going to use fruit index and fruit name. And I'm going to say in, the same way I did, but I'm going to enumerate my fruit list. So for each fruit in my fruit list, I'm going to get the name and the index. And if I print those out, you'll see the difference there. So I'm going to print out the fruit index, and I'm going to go comma, and I'm going to print out the fruit name. And if I run that, I get 0 apple, 1 pear, 2 orange, and 3 plum. And it can be useful to actually know the indexes that you're working with as you're going through. So a string is also a type of array. That's an interesting thing to note. So if I create a string, so I'm going to use the word sentence, and the sentence, I'm going to spell it right, sentence, and the sentence is equal to my dog is a good dog. Full stop. That's a good sentence to actually analyze. So we can actually step through that sentence, and we can say for, I'm going to create a variable called letter in sentence. On there, we can print out the letter. So if we run that now, you can see there that it's gone through and printed out each letter one at a time. So that could be useful in terms of analyzing stuff in a sentence or even a complete paragraph or a complete Word document. You can actually download the text of a document and, say for example, count the number of words that you've used or get a frequency histogram of the words that you've used. You can also set up a type of list called a range, and this is a range of numbers. So just really quickly, for some number in range of, say, 6, and we're just going to say print some number. So if we run that, let's just see what we get. So we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it counts up. So that's a nice easy way of doing a repeated loop that repeats a number of times without having to worry about the increment. So you've got this index built into it. So it's sometimes better to do it that way than to use a while loop with the increment. So some number plus equals 1 that you have to do. Let's actually do, that's a range from 0, so it actually starts a range of 0. You can also, I'm going to copy and paste this one here, Control C and press Control V. I'm going to do some number in range 6 to 20. Let's see what that does. Run without debugging. Okay, there it is down the bottom. So it started at the number 6 and went through to 19. So that's every number from 6 through to 1 less than 20. So you can see there that there's that ability to have a range between two numbers. What about having increments at other than 1? So I'm going to do 6 and I'm going to do 100 and 6, 100, and my increment will be 14. I'm just going to copy this because I'm going to do this again soon. Control C. Right, so if I run that, you'll see that it goes 6, 20, 34, 48, 62, 76, 90, and then it ends. So I've got an increment of 14 there. If I wanted to, for example, go backwards, go from 100 to 6 by 14, and I run that, you'll see there that it didn't work because I need to go backwards by minus 14. Makes sense? So let's just run that without debugging. And therefore it's going to start at 100 and then work its way backwards to 6 by 14, which gives me a range of different numbers, but that's fine. So you can see there that we can use our for with next loop, and it's called a for with next loop because in other programming languages you need to finish it rather than using indenting. You use the word next down the bottom, and that will basically work through any list or array, and any list or array being a list you define, a string, or a range of numbers. There are others, but these are the ones that we definitely need to know.